Okay, so what we have here today is a new exhaust from Full Drive Super Center, the Dominator stainless steel. It's for a 150 series Prado. I've got a 120 or 150 series, sorry, 2011 June. What I've done just to avoid some time is I've jacked the car up. I thought I'd put this video together because I've done a lot of research and I couldn't find anyone that actually ran through it on a 150. And I'm an IT guy, so I'm definitely not a tech guy. But I thought I'd give this a shot myself because I've just had some bad luck in the past with getting other people to do it. So I figured I'm going to start doing it more myself. So what I've done, pretty straightforward at the moment, phase one. I've jacked up the wheels, taken the wheels off so I can expose the exhaust. I've put my spare under there, obviously, good practice for safety. It will be interesting with mine because that there isn't the stock muffler. That's a redback muffler I've had years ago. The car, like I said, 7 years old, done 210,000 on it. I do have a hole somewhere in the muffler apparently. I do use my Prado for four-wheel driving, as you can probably tell. Over here is going to be interesting. I've taken the little splash guard thingy off. I've got a tip from one of the 120 series guys. If I go on here, you can't kind of see, I should get the light out after, but the turbo's in there behind that shielding. About there, if you can see that, that's the shielding there. So I reckon that's going to be a bit of a challenge because that's got, like I said, 210,000 Ks worth of mud and stuff all over it. So hopefully those bolts come off okay. We'll give that a crack soon. But back to the exhaust. Looks pretty good. All seems pretty straightforward. All the bolts and everything are there. It doesn't look too hard. It's got provision for DPF and EGT stuff, and I've just put the bolts on. Gaskets are there. All came nicely packed. Came in a big box over here. So yeah, what I might do is I'll just throughout the day I'll do some bits and then grab the camera out just to show you guys. You know, like I said, I'm not a professional. Just to give some guys some answers to any questions that they've been trying to work out and can't work out. So yeah. Alright, so just let me get my breath. I reckon probably 3 hours to get off two little shitty bolts. One in particular, where's my torch? Oh, let me give you, here. Alright, so you should be able to just see one hanging out there. There's three in total, but the one in the back, absolute bastard. That took me 3 hours, just that dude there, because you have no leverage. You can't actually put an extended bar, you know, socket sets. It was just a real problem, right? So I went from the top. Finally I was able to get a little bit of traction, but not easy. Heaps of WD-40. You know, if it wasn't for that, I reckon it'd be basically done. Old exhaust, cactus. That's the downpipe that caused me all the grief, that guy there. Everything's ready to go. So but yeah, just keep that one in mind. The other bolts were really tight as well, but weren't too much of a problem to get out. Everything came out here okay. It's interesting though, so this the muffler bit is at the back, and I was getting a bit of a breather before to see if I could put him through the back here, and it doesn't fit, so we'll have to see what we can do there, but I'll keep you posted. Let's pause. A bit of interesting trivia. If I can go over here. Let's see if I can zoom in. I don't know if it shows up. It's a bit hard to get under here. I've actually had to cut that piece off. So I think the theory was you take off the gearbox bolt there and mount that downpipe to that, but it didn't line up. It was a good inch out.
So I don't know if that's something between the 120 150 because it's supposed to be suitable for both. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't know, I've double checked, triple checked. There's no other way of mounting that thing. It looks like it's just off. Alright, so all done. If it wasn't for the bloody turbo bolt there taking me like 5 hours and a few cuts and bruises, it actually is pretty easy to do. The only thing I don't like is what I've found with my car. If I come underneath here, hopefully, I don't know if you can see, this pipe here, this tail pipe here is rubbing, and I'm not sure why. I think it's just a case of you might have to just bend the exhaust mounts to maybe lift a little bit, but it's rubbing on this little steel bracket here, which is maybe used for the, I don't know, the Kakadoos or the VXs or whatever, but I'll put a little bit of heat resistant rubber there. Just temporarily done it now with a zip tie. I'm going to put a O-ring there, so obviously so it doesn't melt. That makes a big difference though, right? So, but it was rubbing, was driving me kind of spare. The exhaust overall though looks good. All nicely mounted in there. The OEM hangers are fine. As you can see, all good. That was very simple to put in. Well built. I really enjoyed the way it was built there. The gaskets are good. So look, the only tips I'd say is, like I said, that the turbo bolts, the 3 of them, the one at the top where you can't get access to is an absolute nightmare. And I don't have any tricks around that, to be frank. So I think it's just a case of getting some good sockets, 12mm, the 12mm bolt, yeah, maybe heaps of WD-40 when the time comes, and leave that for an hour or two and go from there. But generally it's good, the exhaust is good. Don't know, I've got to drive it now and see how we go. So hopefully this helps a little bit, and yeah, you got any questions, just message me at the bottom there and we'll go from there. Thanks guys.